This game's not won on social media. This game's not won on telephones. This game is won with shoulder pads, helmets, mouth guards, and sweat. That's how the game is won.
Welcome to the Bill Neese's Coach Show. I'm your host, Chip Hare. With us is Coach Bill Neese. Coach, coming off of a tough loss with the rival Troy Trojans, 28-7. Score certainly does not indicate how close that game was. We said it last week. We said special teams would come into play. I don't know that we thought that it was going to be the first play of the game. They run it back, go up 7-0. Our defense does a really good job and really keeps them quiet. Our offense really starts to get moving. Our defense creates some turnovers, maybe some missed opportunities. We go in the locker room 7-7. They come back and we had the ball. We went 3 and out, and offensively, their quarterback, as we talked about last week, he's talented. He did a nice job of taking care of things as far as taking things in his own hands with the ball, not necessarily passing, although it did open up some passing lanes, 28-7 final. But the Indians come out with the loss, but maybe offensively shown some brightness that we hadn't seen in some of the other games.
I think so. I think I felt the players rebounded well from the fact that you're all set. You go the whole week. You go to all the events and everything along those lines, and then you have the opening kickoff run back for a touchdown, and that could have just really let the air out of everything. And I think they were pretty resilient. Came back. I was a little disappointed that we got 2 turnovers in the first half, and we were not able to get more than 7 points out of that. I thought we should have been able to get a little bit more. I mean, hopefully you get more when somebody turns the ball over on you. But when we came out of the locker room, as you said, I think just that one series of back and forth right at the half where we came out, fumbled the snap, went the wrong way on a screen, and then got ourselves in a 3rd and long right off the bat. And then in the meantime, we gave up 2 big chunk plays, and they were able to score. I think that right there, all of a sudden, the momentum started teetering a little bit. And from that point on, we were playing a little bit catch up. And our players, continue to play well. We came in and watched the film Saturday, corrected some mistakes. There's a couple things we wish we would have not done the way we did them, and unfortunately we did. And as a result, then we came back. Usually I tell them, usually by Saturday night, Sunday, you're ready to go for the next week. You're ready to go get going. Luckily for the coaches, we get in there and watch the film. Our mind gets off of it, and you just kind of you move on. And that you got to get it back into that 1-0 mentality.
Coach, the one thing about that football team, and it'll be the last thing we say before we move on to West Carroll, that's a good football team that we played. And we not only played with them, we were in a situation where you could probably say could have done this, had we done that, maybe the game situation was, but our guys had to come out of that football game believing that, hey, they can not only hang with that team, but they're a team that is a force to be reckoned with.
I think so, and I think our confidence does not get shot. We go into the game, and the thing I like is you can go back then afterwards and get into that film room and look at some stuff and say this is correctable. This we can do this, we can do this. We did not have to make any wholesale changes in terms of personnel, anything along those lines. I think one of the bright spots is our offensive line and our running game continue to roll. general, our offensive line, I thought, played a heck of a game for the fact that we ran the football a decent amount of times. It seemed funny that when you looked at the two halves, it seemed like that they had the ball, a little bit more in the second half and whatever. And I looked at the stats and it was 25 plays first and second half. I think just the fact that they had 4 big plays in the second half. And in high school football, we talked about this before. I think sometimes a big play creates more momentum than a penalty does, or than a turnover does. And they had a couple big plays. Right at the end of the first half, man, we put a couple licks on their receivers. Their receivers caught the ball. They were tough guys. And in the second half, the same pattern, so to speak. We whiffed on a couple tackles where we made it right before the first half. So those are things that we just got to keep working on it. Got to keep moving on.
Well, Coach, there's as we move on, the next one is West Carrollton, and I know there's one person that knows and understands not to take anyone, particularly West Carrollton, for granted, particularly when you go on the road, and that's you, because we can talk in circles about what our last 2 trips to West Carrollton have been. So the fact that their record is 0-4 doesn't, and we've won 1. They play some tough teams. We play some tough teams. So you're looking at teams that their schedules, their records don't reflect the quality of football we're going to see on Friday night. And I know the Indians are going to be ready when we go down on Friday.
Definitely. When we try as best as we can to look at an opponent and just look at what they do, look at who's their players, how are they doing this, how are they this, and not necessarily say pass judgments, because especially again in high school football, you're not guaranteed on a week-to-week basis anybody's consistency in terms of how they're going to play. Now some yes, but there's a lot of ups and downs in this world, and we got to make sure with that momentum swings and all those business, we got to make sure we're down there and we are prepared. We're prepared for possibly a change of offense. We're prepared for maybe a change of defense, onside kicks, whatever the case may be. And hopefully they'll do the same thing and be prepared if possibly we bring some things down.
Well, let's talk a little bit about West Carrollton. They've had a coaching change, so they've got a new coach. I do know I remember last year, particularly when they came here, they passed the eye test. They've got, I remember a lineman in particular that's a big guy and big dude, and I think he's back. So talk a little bit about their team and what some of the things that the Pirates bring.
Well, they basically run a spread offense, run 4 wide. They've been running 2 different quarterbacks in, and each one of them almost has the exact same statistics. They've got some good leaders in the passing game. The run game is unique in the fact that they're running inside zone, but the inside zone is kind of a shot right there. And then sometimes if you lock up that backside, you can take that ball wherever you want. And a lot of times they're locking the backside, and that running back's, he might bounce at one play, he might, bang it right in there another play, and he may cut it back the other play. So, we've got to make sure that we've got our eyes in the right spot, and we've got our tackling game on.
One of the things that you expect from them is some athleticism and speed, and I'm sure that's going to be the case. They probably like to throw the ball and get out a little bit.
They do, and they play a defense similar to ours. They play an even front defense, and a little shade on the inside. So at least that gives us some familiarity. I think we were able to get some good practice in on Monday and Tuesday. This being Tuesday, that we got some good contact in because we can go. We could be able to play our ones versus our ones, and the defense was able to get work as well as the offense at doing the same thing.
Back-to-back weeks on the road, trips a little bit further. So when you get to West Carrollton, you're going to be dealing with things that are guys that have no control over, which is maybe traffic on the way down to the games and those things, and you got to prepare when you go to West Carrollton for anything. Talk a little about. I want to talk a little bit about our senior leaders that we're going to talk about in the second half. Those 2 guys that you're going to have us talking to are. You get one that's pretty quiet, and you get another guy that's pretty vocal, but yet both guys have really made an impact Keaton in both sides, and Riley and on the offensive line. And we talked about the offensive line with our guests last week, and important of that line.
Yeah.
And certainly Friday night will be no different.
I think so. I think Riley Elam has done just an amazing job of where he's come from. 2 years ago, he wasn't sure he was even going to wanting to play anymore. Didn't get a whole lot of even time on the JVs. Last year, spent a lot of time on the JVs. And when you're a junior and you play JVs, one of two things happen. You either embrace that junior year and catapult you into an outstanding senior year, or you say, hey, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. I'm discouraged, and then you spend a whole year never getting any better. You're just waiting for somebody to graduate, so you can step into their role. And a lot of times that doesn't happen because other kids were making strides and getting better. And I can't say enough about what he's done in the weight room, what he's done for himself. I mean, he goes in there, he's got a bad ankle, he's got a bad wrist. It takes him about 20 minutes before every practice to tape his body together. And once he goes out of the practice, he's just gone. He's gone full speed. Now, Bolden has been he's been rocking for us since he's arrived. Vocal, visible, great playmaker. I think he's leading the league right now in interceptions, and he's just been a force for us. His tackling on run game has considerably got better this year. He really has done a great job of bolstering and not just making. Well, I'm going to play the run second. If it's a run, he's going to come up and he's going to make a strike, and I think that's important. So, he's the guy that does the jump. He's the guy that when we do our warm-ups, he's the first guy over to the left to start, and that's kind of a heralded position too. Who's going to be the first guy that I scream his name and say, let's go, and so forth and so on. So I think he, along with our other seniors, can't ask for anything more from those guys. There's 16 of them, and every one of them contributes something. Everyone is contributing something on game night.
Well, here's what I noticed about this senior class, and every senior class has its own personality. You can tell it matters to this group, and they are expecting the next 6 weeks, and as you say, there's one at a time, that they are locked in on West Carrollton. As far as they know, the only team on the schedule is West Carrollton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've done a great job, and we'll continue to strive to get better, stay injury-free, and take the next step.
Coach, this is the part of the year when you and I start talking about the grind. Mm-hmm. You start getting into weeks 5. We're going to be coming up to the halfway point of the season. You get 5, 6, 7. Those are important weeks, as they're all important. But your body feels different, your mind feels different, and you got to just take it 1 week at a time to get yourself through it.
Yeah, and we this is the week where we change practice schedules. We kick back the practice schedule a little bit. We can now go into just do a little bit more instead of everything, to concentrate today on offense, tomorrow on defense, Monday on special teams, competitions and stuff like that. So we're condensing a little bit more because essentially those guys don't need to spend 12 minutes on the boards anymore. Because they've been blocking the same guy, and I know some of the old school coaches say, well, and we still have contact. That's fine when we need it, but sometimes you get to the point where when you're doing drills, if I'm a left tackle, I've been playing over our right defensive end now, for since maybe July. Okay, and at some point, I think we got it. And then we just want to, we want to stay healthy. We want to try to, maybe put some new wrinkles in stuff and things like that. That's what we're looking at now.
Well, I know the theme every year this time of year is stay healthy, and that we want to keep Katie Smith a little bored.
Yeah, we want to keep her inactive.
Yeah, Coach, wish you all the best as we get on West Carrollton on Friday.
Thank you.
We're going to talk to Riley and Keaton when we turn on part 2 of the Bill Nieces Coaches Show. Stay right there. Welcome to part 2 of the Bill Nieces Coaches Show, brought to you by Dick Lumpkin's Auto Body Shop. And I'm going to have our seniors introduce their names and the positions they play.
I'm Keaton Bolden. I play a wide receiver in DB.
I'm Riley Elam. I play right tackle.
Riley, I want to start with you. You're a part of the line, which is, we had a couple linemen on last week. That's not necessarily the glory job, but talk a little bit about right tackle and the joys of the grunt of being the guy that is up front. What does that mean for you as a football player? And as I mentioned, there's not a lot of you don't get a lot of recognition. You do it for the love of the game.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, I do it for the love of the game. I've always loved football, watching it, playing it. But I like right tackle, just being able to see like what's out in front of me, pick up any blitzes, just to keep my quarterback safe and have a functioning offense. It starts with us every play.
How important is that relationship with the quarterback?
It's very important. We got to communicate on a lot of things. He's got to give us time to make adjustments to anything we see up front. So.
And you got to hold him off.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Keaton, a little bit about your positions. You play both sides of the ball, so you don't come off the field a lot. Talk a little about that, and as far as mindset and how you get yourself prepared to play both ways.
So kind of just gotta like look at it as a positive. I feel like that you might be able to get a break on special teams, or if you do this, then you might have a break coming up on offense because you have one of the younger guys that have been coming in trying to give us secondary guys a break on the offensive side of the ball that come in, and you can just look at it on a positive. You get a big stop on defense, and then you can look over and be like, oh, well, I got one of the sophomores going in for me, so I get a break on offense, or on punt, I get a break, or kickoff, or just stuff like that.
Sure.
It's the little things.
Let's talk a little about the season. Right now, we're 1-3. We've played a pretty tough schedule to this point. Even the win that we got, you played a team that was undefeated. We've played what would arguably be two of the top teams in the league in Tip and Troy. You've also had a opener against the Lima team who probably is going to be at the top of their league and probably be in the playoffs. So we've had a tough gauntlet here. But we're not discouraged. I know that. We're looking to bounce back and get ready for West Carrollton. So tell me a little bit about the mindset and goals of where we are at this point.
So a big goal of ours is just to never give up, and we're 1-0 every week. Every week it's 1-0. We don't really care about how we were in the past or what happened last week. It's the focus is to be 1-0 by the end of the week. And we come in the off season and we work pretty hard, and just it's kind of hard to get discouraged when we work so hard in the off season that you just want to keep going and getting better and just getting over that hill that we're almost there, and because of how much we just come in the off season and keep working, we never really just want to give up because we work so hard at the time.
Well, Keaton, I think I've heard your football coach through the years say, and if he was in here, I'm guessing he would say the only game that's important right now that's on the schedule is West Carrollton. Ryan, I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
Just like how he said, going 1-0 every week, it doesn't matter what happened last week, as long as we can either win and carry that momentum forward, or even if we do lose, we come back and we bounce back even stronger. But it's just small things.
And we'll get to those small things. I'll have the opportunity to address those on Friday night at West Carrollton. By the way, kickoff is at 7 p.m. at West Carrollton. Now, let's talk a little about what's it like to be part of the Piqua Indian program. You've been a part of it for a while. You guys are obviously starters. What does it mean to put on the Navy and the white and the Indian head and play for this football program?
It means a lot to me just to have the opportunity to come out here and just play every night with my friends and everything on the field. Don't want to take it for granted at all, so I just enjoy every step of it.
Keaton?
I think it's like a brotherhood, and I feel like it's just got to be something that's so normal that you just expect it to be there every day. And the thing is a lot of us that are seniors now aren't we don't really realize that next year it's not going to be here for us, and I feel like a lot of people fall back on this, and they don't really understand that next year that this isn't going to be here, since it's kind of just been a daily occurrence for us for so long since third grade. I mean, I'm sure for a lot more people it's been a little sooner than that if they played flag football too.
Well, guys, we certainly wish you guys all the best. as you guys get ready for your next game, which is the only game, that's West Carrollton, and certainly the rest of your senior year. Inquiring minds want to know. I get this question, and I never had a good answer for it. You have been the last guy that comes out of the locker room. And it has been a tradition the last few years that the guys lift up one guy. What is that tradition, and how did you get in that spot?
So it started a couple years ago, and it just has kind of always like carried on. And last year it was Jericho, and Jericho was like, he told me at the end of the season that he wanted me to be the guy to do it. So I just kind of wanted to carry it on, and then I'm sure it's going to happen next year and then the year after that.
Okay, good. Well, that's a good one. All right, hey, last question. Alexander Stadium will be a different scene in May, graduation weekend. You'll be wearing a different uniform. What are some of the things you guys are looking to do post-graduation here as you get your diploma? Brian, why don't you go?
All right, my fault. Either go straight to the workforce. I'm already working at a company called AMS, making good money. But if opportunity of college football were to come, I wouldn't turn it down automatically. I would really think about it.
Think about it, consider it?
Yeah.
Love the game.
Yeah, just love it.
Same thing, kind of. I plan on going into the workforce, and then actually going to a school, a welding school, and then I ended up traveling and welding in different.
And you're at the Upper Valley right now,
Yep.
welding program.
Yep, and ended up welding in different states and stuff. But I mean, if the opportunity comes for college football, I would definitely entertain it and wouldn't turn it down right away. I would have to kind of play it by ear.
See where your options are.
Yep.
Always leave your options open.
Yep.
You never know what comes. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, and we certainly wish you all the best against the Pirates there on Friday night in West Carrollton. Go get them.
All right.
That'll wrap up this week's Bill Neese's Coaches Show, brought to you by Dick Lumpkin's Auto Body. Just a reminder, the game will be at West Carrollton, kickoff at 7 p.m. You can catch the game on the radio at WPTW and certainly get your highlights and discussion at next week's Bill Neese's Coaches Show. For our players, our seniors, I'm your host, Chip Hare. We will see you next week. Good night, everyone.